a friend, here's what to say. Let's talk in English, 10 minutes every day. When you need a friend, here's what to say. Let's talk in English, 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Hello friends, welcome to Let's Talk in English. My name is Esther.
And my name is Garrett. Today we start an animals lesson.
And the name of our lesson is Unusual Animals.
Ooh, this one sounds fun. First, let's talk about that word unusual. Something that is unusual is not usual. It's different from something that's normal.
Right, it is not common. If something is unusual, you might not see it very often, or it might not happen very often.
When we think of usual animals, you might think of normal pet animals, things like dogs and cats.
Or birds and turtles, but we're talking about ones that are not so common. Let's go to our reading.
There are so many amazing animals in the world. They live in all kinds of places. Some are familiar, such as tigers, elephants, and kangaroos. But many are unusual. The glass frog has special skin. It is clear, so you can see its insides. The platypus is another unusual animal. It lays eggs like a bird and has a bill like a duck. But it's not a bird.
Thank you, Garrett. Yes, today we're talking about animals you might not know too much about because they are unusual. And we'll also need to answer our Find It question like usual. Here's the question. What isn't Greg familiar with?
What isn't Greg familiar with? Now that question means, what things does he not know much about? Well, I hope you become familiar with the answer by the end of our lesson.
Right. And friends, now it's time for us to go to Sonia, who will teach us today's keywords.
Susie 正在用手机看一些很稀奇的动物 unusual animals 形容词 unusual 就是稀奇的、不寻常的。Greg 说他也很喜欢动物，他喜欢大象和老虎。I love elephants and tigers 名词 elephant 就是大象。Susie 觉得大象、老虎不算稀有动物，她要 Greg 看看手机里的玻璃蛙。Look at this glass frog 名词 frog 就是青蛙。Susie 还向他介绍了鸭嘴兽，说它是生长在澳洲的。Greg 说袋鼠也是生长在澳洲。So do kangaroos 名词 kangaroo 就是袋鼠。Greg 说袋鼠他是知道了，但是对鸭嘴兽就不熟悉。I'm not too familiar with platypuses 形容词 familiar 就是熟悉的。
What are you looking at, Susie?
Unusual animals. There are some really amazing ones.
I know. I love elephants and tigers.
They're not very unusual. But look at this glass frog.
Why is it called that?
Because it has special skin. It's clear, so you can see its insides.
That is unusual. It would be weird to have clear skin.
You know, Esther, there's one thing I've learned about our coworkers, and that's that they're all so interested in different things. Like Susie, today she's looking at or learning about something new.
Right, and Susie loves animals. She even has a few pets. Today, Susie is looking at unusual animals, animals that are not very common.
Animals that are not usual. Well, Susie says there are some really amazing ones. Now, before we continue, let's talk about other words that are kind of like that word unusual. Remember, un means not. Here's Sonia to tell us more.
Susie 正在看她的手机。Greg 问她在看什么，她回答：很稀奇的动物 ，unusual animals。形容词 usual 是平常的意思，它的字首加上了 on， 就是加了否定的意思，所以 unusual 表示稀奇的或不寻常的。其他类似的例子像是 unhappy 不快乐的 ，unsafe 不安全的 ，uncertain 不确定的。来看例句 ：It's unusual to see snow in April here。这里4月下雪很少见。或是 He looked unhappy after the meeting。他开完会后看起来不太开心。还有 It's unsafe to walk alone at night。晚上独自走路很不安全。
Thank you, Sonia. Well, it sounds like Greg knows some things about animals.
Right. He says that he loves elephants and tigers. Let's talk about what an elephant is. Elephants are large animals with big ears and a long nose we call a trunk.
Right. Elephants are very interesting animals. You can find them in a couple different places on Earth. But Susie says that elephants and tigers are not very unusual. What does she mean?
Well, these animals are more common because in almost every zoo you will find elephants and tigers. But Susie wants Greg to look at a glass frog.
A glass frog? Like something you keep around your house?
Well, that's what you think when you think of a glass frog, but there is a real animal also called a glass frog.
Okay, well, a frog is an animal. It's an animal that lives around water and sometimes on land, and they can be quite small.
Now, Greg wants to know why these frogs are called glass frogs. He says, why is it called that?
Well, the answer is because these glass frogs have special skin. The skin is clear, so you can see its insides. The insides of something are what's inside of it. You can see inside this frog.
Right, and for humans, our insides includes our organs like our stomach and our lungs. Now, Greg says that is unusual, this picture of a glass frog.
Right, this is not true for most other animals. You can't see their insides. It would be weird to have clear skin.
Right, and that word weird just means strange. Remember, it's spelled W-E-I-R-D.
That is right. Well, we will have more animals to talk about, but first, it's time for a quick break. We'll be right back just after this.
Let's talk in English. 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're talking about unusual animals, like the glass frog. Esther, have you ever seen a frog?
I have seen frogs, but I've never seen a glass frog. I'm curious because I want to know what its insides look like.
Yeah, I wonder if it's loud like other frogs.
Right. Well, we'll have to find out and we'll learn more about more unusual animals. Let's continue.
What about this one? It has a bill like a duck and lays eggs, but it's not a bird.
Is it some kind of lizard?
No, it's a platypus. Platypuses live in Australia.
So do kangaroos. I know about kangaroos, but I'm not too familiar with platypuses.
I'm not either. They look strange.
They do. But that's okay. So do a lot of people.
All right, so we're continuing. Remember, Susie is looking at or learning about some unusual animals.
Right, and now she shows Greg another picture. She says, "What about this one?" And friends, what about this one is also today's calendar phrase.
What about this one?
What about this one?
这个如何？
I'm looking at unusual pictures.
Oh, show me.
Okay. What about this one?
Oh, it's funny.
What about this one?
It's ugly.
What about this one?
Oh, it's scary.
What about this one?
That's not unusual. It's me.
What about this one?
What about this one?
这个如何？
Thanks for that, guys. All right, so Susie is showing Greg this unusual animal. I think it sounds very unusual. Let's describe it for a moment. First, it has a bill like a duck.
Right. A duck is a bird, and birds have bills. Bills is the part that looks like the front of the mouth.
Right, bills are kind of hard, and mostly only birds have them. And this animal also lays eggs. That's also a lot like a bird.
But this animal is not a bird. And Greg wants to know, is it some kind of lizard?
Oh, that's a good question. Many lizards also lay eggs, but this one, it's also not a lizard.
This animal has a special name. It's called a platypus, and they live in Australia.
Right, they look kind of funny. I actually think they look pretty cool.
Right, and speaking of Australia, Greg knows that kangaroos also live there.
Kangaroos are other animals. They like to jump around, and they keep their babies in a little pocket in the front.
Right, they are very cute. And that leads us to the answer to our Find It question. Our question is, what isn't Greg familiar with?
He isn't familiar with platypuses. That means he doesn't know much about them. How else can we use that word?
You can also say, I'm not too familiar with Australia if you've never been there or read about it.
You might also say, I'm familiar with my friend Brian. You know a bit about him. Let's go to Sonia for more on this.
Susie 向 Greg 介绍鸭嘴兽。Greg 说：“我知道袋鼠，可是我对鸭嘴兽不熟悉。I know about kangaroos, but I'm not too familiar with platypuses.” 我们来学这个句型，主词加 be familiar with 什么，就表示某人对某事物很熟悉。来看例句 ：She's familiar with most country songs. 她对大多数的乡村歌曲都很熟悉。或是 Are you familiar with the rules of this game? 你熟悉这个游戏的规则吗？还有 Are they familiar with this place? 他们对这个地方熟悉吗？
Thank you so much, Sonia. Now we're a bit more familiar with those sentences.
Right. Susie says that she's also not very familiar with platypuses. She says that she thinks they look strange or a little funny.
Or maybe even a little weird. Yeah, they look very different from other animals. Greg agrees with this.
He says, but that's okay. It's okay to look a little strange because he says, so do a lot of people.
That is a funny sentence. Is he saying a lot of people look strange?
I think that he's saying that people look differently and it's okay.
Right, we all look a little bit different and that's all right. Sometimes it's okay to be unusual.
Right. When you're unusual, people might want to know more about you, like these animals.
Exactly. All right, friends, we learned some good words in our lesson today. Now it's time to review.
Here is our first key word, familiar. Familiar. Are you familiar with the book?
Elephant. Elephant. That elephant is really big.
Kangaroo. Kangaroo. Kangaroos are Linda's favorite animal.
Unusual. Unusual. The sky is an unusual color today.
Frog. Frog. The frog jumped into the water. Friends, those are today's key words. Keep practicing.
And now it's
Your
your
turn.
turn.
The words for today are familiar, elephants, kangaroos, unusual, and frogs. Now it's your turn to use them in a sentence. First one. Did you see in Australia? This animal can jump very high and far. Great job! Did you see kangaroos in Australia? Next. Some are very loud. This animal eats insects. That's the answer. Some frogs are very loud. Next. Mike is with this city. He has lived in this city for 10 years. Correct. Mike is familiar with this city. Next. What is so about her style? This means it is not common. You're right. What is so unusual about her style? Last one. Are big animals. This is easy. Elephants are big animals. Bye for now, friends. I'll see you next time here at Your Turn.
What are you looking at, Susie?
Unusual animals. There are some really amazing ones.
I know. I love elephants and tigers.
They're not very unusual. But look at this glass frog.
Why is it called that?
Because it has special skin. It's clear, so you can see its insides.
That is unusual. It would be weird to have clear skin.
What about this one? It has a bill like a duck and lays eggs, but it's not a bird.
Is it some kind of lizard?
No, it's a platypus. Platypuses live in Australia.
So do kangaroos. I know about kangaroos, but I'm not too familiar with platypuses.
I'm not either. They look strange.
They do. But that's okay. So do a lot of people.
One, two, let's review.
Yeah, let's review.
Hazel, what's this?
Well, I drew some pictures of unusual animals.
Hazel, that's a frog. Frogs aren't unusual.
Yeah, but look at this one. It's called a glass frog
A glass frog? Why is it called that?
because it has special skin. You can see right through it, just like glass. Take a look. You can see its stomach, and there's this little heart. Toot, 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 toot.
Wow, clear skin. That is unusual.
Yeah, but that's not all. What do you think this is?
Huh, it has a bill like a duck, but it looks like a beaver. Is this real?
Yes, when this animal was discovered, scientists couldn't believe it. They thought it was a joke.
It is hard to believe. Where are they from?
They're from Australia. It's called a platypus.
Platypus? That's an unusual name.
Yes, an unusual name for an unusual animal. Crazy.
What is it like to be a friend to those we meet each day? Is it the things you do for them or things that you might say? Think about the friends you know when we mean to you. They're the ones who understand. Be a friend to what you met and help them on their way. Be a friend who can make a difference and brighten up their day. Be a friend to what you met and help them on their way. Be a friend. You can make a difference and brighten up their day. What is it like to be a friend to those we meet each day? Is it the things you do for them or things that you might say? Think about the friends you know to you. They're the ones who understand. Be a friend to what you met and help them on their way. Be a friend who can make a difference and brighten up their day. Be a friend to what you met and help them on their way. Be a friend. You can make a difference and brighten up their day. Think about it, 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 think about it.
All right, before we finish, Esther, can you think of any other interesting, unusual animals?
Well, we've had lots of pets growing up, and one time we had a turkey for a pet, but they're not very unusual.
Well, not many people have them as pets. They're really big birds, much bigger than a chicken. I was thinking of the flamingo. They're pink birds with long legs. Sometimes they just stand on one.
Right, they are very pretty. When you see them together, it looks like they are just enjoying life.
Right, they enjoy spending time in the water. Friends, what unusual animals do you know about?
Right. Think about the animals we talked about today. Learn more about the kangaroo, the platypus, and the glass frog.
And of course, make sure you join us again tomorrow as we continue. That's right here on Let's Talk in English. Goodbye.
Bye.